We live in a world that often tells us to strive for perfection. From the moment we wake up, we are inundated with images and messages that set impossibly high standards. These standards are not just about our professional achievements or our physical appearance, but they extend to every aspect of our lives. We are bombarded with messages that say our worth is tied to our achievements, our possessions, and our appearance. Advertisements tell us that we need the latest gadgets, the trendiest clothes, and the most luxurious lifestyles to be happy and successful. Social media amplifies this message, showing us curated versions of other people's lives that seem perfect and unattainable. It's easy to get caught up in this pursuit of external validation, constantly seeking approval from others. We compare ourselves to these idealized images and often find ourselves lacking. This constant comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, making us question our own worth. But true self-love doesn't come from outside ourselves, it comes from within. It is not something that can be bought or achieved through external means. It is a deep, internal process of recognizing and accepting our true selves. This journey requires us to turn inward, to quiet the external noise, and to listen to our own inner voice. Self-love is about recognizing your inherent worth. It is about understanding that you are valuable just as you are, without needing to prove anything to anyone. It is about seeing yourself through a lens of compassion and kindness, rather than judgment and criticism. It's about accepting yourself, flaws and all. We all have imperfections, and that's what makes us human. Embracing these imperfections is a crucial part of self-love. It means acknowledging our mistakes and learning from them, rather than letting them define us. It's about embracing your authentic self, even the parts you deem messy or imperfect. Authenticity means being true to who you are, even when it's difficult. It means showing up as your true self, without hiding behind masks or facades. This authenticity is what connects us to others and allows us to form genuine relationships. This journey to self-love is a deeply personal one, and it looks different for everyone. For some, it might involve spending time in nature, away from the hustle and bustle of daily life. For others, it might mean engaging in creative activities that bring joy and fulfillment. Whatever the path, it is important to honor and respect your own unique journey. A journey that requires us to silence the noise of the world and listen to the whispers of our hearts. In the stillness, we can hear our true desires and needs. We can connect with our inner wisdom and find the guidance we need to navigate our lives with authenticity and grace. The heart speaks a different language than the mind. While the mind is logical and analytical, the heart is intuitive and emotional. It knows what we truly need, even when our minds are clouded with doubt and confusion. It doesn't deal in logic or reason. Instead, it speaks the language of emotions, of intuition, of deep knowing. It guides us towards what feels right, even when it doesn't make sense to our rational minds. Instead, it speaks the language of emotions, of intuition, of deep knowing. This inner wisdom is always available to us if we take the time to listen. It can guide us towards choices that are in alignment with our true selves, leading to a life of greater fulfillment and joy. The heart guides us towards connection, meaning, and authenticity. It reminds us that we are not alone, that we are part of a larger whole. It encourages us to form deep, meaningful relationships with others based on mutual respect and understanding. It reminds us that we are worthy of love and belonging simply because we exist. We don't need to earn our worth through achievements or possessions. Our worth is inherent, and it is something that can never be taken away. By embracing this truth, we can live more authentically and fully, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. The mind, with its constant chatter and analysis, often leads us astray on the path to self-love. It focuses on what we haven't achieved, the mistakes we've made, and the ways we don't measure up to societal expectations. The mind thrives on comparison, judgment, and self-criticism. The heart, on the other hand, sees things differently. It sees beyond the surface, beyond the imperfections and the shortcomings. It sees the beauty in our vulnerability, the strength in our resilience, and the love that resides within each and every one of us. When we allow our hearts to lead the way, we begin to shift our perspective. We start to see ourselves through a lens of compassion and understanding. We recognize that our worthiness is not dependent on external factors, but rather on the inherent goodness that lies within. I remember a time in my own life when I struggled deeply with self-love. It was a period marked by intense personal challenges and emotional turmoil. I often found myself questioning my own worth, and doubting my ability to overcome the obstacles in my path. The weight of these thoughts was overwhelming, and I felt as though I was drowning in a sea of self-doubt and despair. I was going through a period of immense personal hardship. Every day felt like a battle, and I was constantly at war with my own mind. The sense of isolation was profound, and I felt disconnected from the world around me. It was as if a dark cloud had settled over my life, obscuring any glimmer of hope or happiness. I felt lost, broken, and utterly unworthy of love or belonging. The pain of these feelings was almost unbearable, and I often wondered if I would ever find a way out of the darkness. It was a time of deep introspection, where I was forced to confront my innermost fears and insecurities. The journey was arduous, but it was also a necessary step towards healing and self-discovery. It was during this dark time that I learned a powerful lesson about the true nature of self-worth. I realized that my value was not determined by my external circumstances or the opinions of others. Instead, it was something intrinsic, something that came from within. This realization was a turning point for me, and it set me on a path towards self-acceptance and inner peace. I found myself seeking help from an organization that provided support to those experiencing homelessness. This was a humbling experience, as I had always prided myself on my independence and self-sufficiency. But in that moment I realized that asking for help was not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to my strength and resilience. I was filled with shame and self-judgment, convinced that I was somehow less than because of my circumstances. The stigma associated with seeking help weighed heavily on me, and I struggled to reconcile my need for support with my desire to be seen as capable and strong. But as I spent more time with the people at the organization, my perspective began to shift. But the people at the organization treated me with such kindness, compassion, and respect. They saw me not as a person defined by my struggles, but as an individual with inherent worth and potential. Their unwavering support and understanding helped me to see myself in a new light, and I began to believe that I was deserving of love and acceptance. They saw past my struggles and recognized my inherent humanity. This was a profound revelation for me, as it challenged the negative beliefs I had held about myself for so long. I began to understand that my worth was not contingent on my achievements or the approval of others, but rather on my own sense of self and the love I had for myself. Their empathy was a turning point for me. It marked the beginning of a journey towards self-compassion and self-love. I started to let go of the harsh judgments I had placed on myself and began to embrace my imperfections. This shift in mindset allowed me to heal and grow in ways I had never thought possible. It showed me that my worth was not defined by my situation or my perceived failures. Instead, it was something that was always there, waiting to be acknowledged and embraced. This realization gave me the strength to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. It was in that moment that I began to understand that true self-love comes from within. It is about recognizing and honoring our inherent value, regardless of the challenges we face or the mistakes we make. This inner sense of worth is what sustains us through difficult times and allows us to emerge stronger and more resilient. It's about recognizing our inherent value regardless of our circumstances. When we learn to see ourselves through the lens of compassion and self-love, we unlock the potential for true happiness and fulfillment. This journey is not always easy, but it is one of the most important paths we can take in life. Section 4. Seeing with the heart beyond the illusion of perfection. Seeing with the heart requires us to look beyond the masks we wear and the stories we tell ourselves. These masks, often crafted from societal expectations and personal insecurities, can obscure our true essence. They are the facades we present to the world, hoping to be accepted, loved, and understood. But in doing so, we sometimes lose touch with who we genuinely are. It's about connecting with our true selves, the selves we hide from the world out of fear of judgment or rejection. This connection is not always easy. It requires courage and a willingness to be vulnerable. It means facing our deepest fears and insecurities, and acknowledging the parts of ourselves that we might not be proud of. But in this process, we find a profound sense of freedom and authenticity. It's about embracing our vulnerability, our imperfections, and our messy, complicated humanity. Just like the sunflower, which is beautiful, not despite its imperfections but because of them, we too can find beauty in our flaws. Our imperfections tell a story of resilience, growth, and the unique journey we have each undertaken. When we see ourselves with the heart's eyes, we begin to let go of the need for perfection. we start to understand that perfection is an illusion, a mirage that keeps us chasing an unattainable ideal. Instead, we learn to appreciate the beauty of our authentic selves, with all our quirks and idiosyncrasies. We recognize that our flaws are not something to be ashamed of, but rather an integral part of what makes us unique and beautiful. Each scar, each wrinkle, each imperfection is a testament to our experiences, our battles, and our triumphs. They are the marks of a life fully lived. We embrace our imperfections as reminders of our shared humanity. In doing so, we foster deeper connections with others, as we realize that everyone has their own struggles and insecurities. This shared understanding creates a sense of community and belonging, where we can support and uplift each other. This shift in perspective allows us to show ourselves the same kindness and compassion that we would offer to a loved one. We begin to treat ourselves with more gentleness, understanding, and forgiveness. We learn to be our own best friends, offering ourselves the love and support we need to thrive. We begin to treat ourselves with more gentleness, understanding, and forgiveness. This journey of self-acceptance and self-love is ongoing, but with each step, we move closer to living a life that is true to who we are. A life that is rich, fulfilling, and authentically ours. Section 5. The Path to Self-Love. Practical Steps and Daily Practices. The journey to self-love is not always easy. It requires us to confront our deepest fears, challenge our limiting beliefs, and embrace the unknown. But the rewards are immeasurable. When we cultivate self-love, we open ourselves up to a life filled with greater joy, authenticity, and fulfillment. There are many paths you can take on this journey. Mindfulness can be a powerful tool for cultivating self-love. By paying attention to our thoughts and feelings without judgment, we create space for self-acceptance and compassion to arise. Self-acceptance is another crucial element of self-love. It's about embracing all parts of ourselves, including the parts we may not like or want to change. It's about recognizing that we are worthy of love and belonging exactly as we are.